Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to Field of Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
I'm Joey.
I'm Mitch.
Today we got a lot to talk about. Justice League.
What? When did that come out?
It's been so long, you know, all the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think the first
buffoonery and
Comic-Con footage was like a year ago now?
Yeah.
Over a year? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think summer last year, so yeah, close to a year and a half.
Wow.
we'll give our overall spoiler-free review and then we'll dive right into spoilers. First, I just got to know from the group, anyone see the Deadpool Bob Ross teaser trailer?
Yes.
Did you see it, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys think?
Amusing.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't really, it was a quick tease.
It wasn't crack up amusing.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, haha.
Hopefully the whole movie won't be that way, but
Right.
I dug it. I liked the whole
It
retro.
wasn't bad
Yeah.
at all. I mean, I didn't look at it and groan, you know, but
Yeah.
it felt like it maybe ran just a hair long.
Yeah. Yeah. They're asking a lot for everyone.
But I'm looking forward to the next
watch.
movie and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be
I
awesome.
hope they do well. So.
I saw a headline about it like a day later. It was like, fans notice details in Deadpool 2 trailer. And I was like, yeah. What?
That's the
Why is that
goal.
surprising?
Huh.
Are you guys talking about the colors? Is that what you're noticing about the Deadpool trailer? Did anybody see some of the colors, like yellow snow?
Oh, the names of the colors.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The Betty White and a few other things. Yeah. That was really clever. So hopefully they can pull it off. We'll see.
It looks like a bigger budget movie to me from what it did before. I mean, it looked not as gritty as the very first movie. So I'm a little nervous, but you know, it seems like they got most of the original cast back. So I'm interested to see how that all rolls out.
Yeah. Well, and with Thanksgiving season, they have a nice poster out with them all at the dinner table.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I don't know if the wife would let me hang it up in the house. But,
Festive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
News. Sexual deviant Brett Ratner will no longer be involved with Wonder Woman 2. Gal Gadot wouldn't return if he was still involved. Middle-earth Unchained. J.R.R. Tolkien's son Christopher resigns from the estate. Chris wasn't allowing other Middle-earth stories to be adapted. This opens up so many possibilities. Amazon is currently adapting Lord of the Rings into a series. Fantastic Beasts 2. To be called Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Cast photo released. Jude Law is the new addition. He'll play young Dumbledore. Release date is November 16th, 2018. Incredibles 2. Teaser dropped. Brad Bird is returning to the director's chair. Release date is June 15th, 2018. Death on the Nile. Sequel to Murder on the Orient Express is currently in development. No deal as of yet for Kenneth Branagh's return to the director's chair. The story is based off the book published in 1937. Feature film was released in 1978. Murder on the Orient Express is currently in theaters. For all other news, please check out Field of Geeks on all social media. Listen to them on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, and fieldofgeeks.com. All right, guys. Well, let's get to the main event, Justice League. So let's go around the table, and we'll give our spoiler-free reviews, and then right into spoilers. So whoever wants to start.
well, Steve, you're the oldest. I mean, you've
I
been
am
waiting.
the oldest. I'll be dead sooner, so
Yeah.
I might as well start now and get this out of the way before I croak. So, no, I didn't see it until last night, but you know what a case of the reviews just being rotten. You know, literally rotten, and I was very happy. You know, I enjoyed the movie all the way through. Like any movie, there's areas that maybe could have been different or a little bit, you know, either fleshed out more or CG or whatever your complaints might be. Every movie has that, you know. But gosh, I truly loved it. I was telling someone at work, I said, if every single movie between now and say 10 years from now was a Wonder Woman movie, I'd be fine with that.
And what did the other guy in the bathroom at work say?
He just said this. Having to listen to me.
It was just you in a mirror.
It was just me in a mirror. And, yeah.
Listen,
that conversation was better than most that I have. So
you're like, did I take my pills last night? Oh,
right.
Crap, I didn't.
Liked it. Loved
Awesome.
it. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Is that your overall rating?
Out of 5, what would you say?
I'd
2
say
thumbs out of 5.
out of 5 stars, I would rate it 3 batarangs, 2 golden lassos.
That's clever. I like that.
And
a
2 Superman caskets and 4 Green Lantern rings.
Wow.
So it was good.
Wow. It's hard to live up to that.
It
Caskets.
Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been waiting for this movie pretty much like 16 years, ever since the animated series came out. And it's the anniversary. Like, the premiere of the movie was the anniversary of the premiere of the animated series, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really liked it. A lot of stuff I had problems with, obviously, and it's mostly behind the scenes things. Like you said, the reviews kind of like ruining it before the general audience could even see it, or fans could even see it. I think it's that mixed with, the tampering by the studio. And you could really tell what the reshoots were and what the original footage was. And the majority of it was reshoots. And, I've been trying to give my review to people, but like, it's so hard to, in just 2 words, because it's like, well, I liked it, but, and it's like, despite all that, I liked it, but, and then, I keep going back to that. But I really did enjoy it. It feels like an episode of the animated series, pretty much, to me anyways. It's all colorful and just, I thought the action was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I gave it probably like 3.5 out of 5.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, what'd you think?
Well, I'm a lot like Joey. It was just one of those things where it's just like, it was great, and the only thing, and I was talking to you guys earlier, the only thing that got me was the reshoots with Superman. It felt like the majority of Zack Snyder's version of Superman was pretty much cut out. And, I don't know if we'll ever get to see the deleted scenes. Maybe we'll get a director's cut with Zack Snyder in it.
There's a petition right now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because I feel like, in the previews, you get to see, Alfred saying, oh, you're here in just a luck of time. Or, you get to see shoots where Batman was wearing the black suit, and everybody got excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that what the reshoots were bad. They were. I think they added to it. There were a lot of scenes that I thought were enhanced because of a little bit of humor between the Flash and Superman. But I would say the overall tonality, the color seemed brighter. In a typical Zack Snyder movie, they were a little bit toned down, but you could definitely tell where some of that was still Zack versus some of it is the new guy. The other thing that I could think of is
the new guy. This is fresh on the scene, Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
I hope he does something more than this.
What's that?
I hope he does something more than just this movie.
Yeah.
He's got a good career ahead of him, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only other thing, and I'm just totally nitpicking here because I thoroughly enjoyed the movie and I want to go see it again. You could kind of tell some of the CGI where Batman was moving about, where it felt like Zack Snyder had control, because we've already seen Batman versus Superman versus the new scenes. And to their credit, for all the reshoots that they did, you're talking, 4 months, where they normally have a couple of years or maybe a year at least to do this stuff. You could definitely tell where some of that was. I don't think it detracted from the movie, but if you're just, an OCD nut, it might drive you a little nuts.
Guilty.
But
well, also to that point, if you're reviewing the movie like without the knowledge of, okay, they only had 4 months to do this, unless instead of going into it like, okay, they had 4 months to do this as opposed to a year. So let me give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit on that.
Yeah, I should take it in the hurdles they experienced. I mean, because a lot of them, I mean, God, especially with his daughter, you know, that was not predictable and very tragic. And yeah, that should have kind of been, and maybe some critics forgave it for that. I don't know, but I did.
Yeah.
So Mitch, what would you give it out of 5?
I would say a solid 4 out of 5. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The interaction between the Flash and Cyborg was great. I personally think that Wonder Woman again stole the show. I don't think can do anything wrong, and she's. It seems like she's taking the lead in these movies. I like how Batman had that Justice League cartoon thing where he'd always try to bring out the best in everybody, you know, and just drive them to do more and more and more to get them to push and push and push, which seems like a human aspect that these guys with superpowers don't seem to realize that they can do more than what they already do. So I really liked it.
Great. Yeah. I felt it was short and sweet, to be honest.
Too short.
Yeah, too short. A lot of fun. I thought the build was a little slow at first. I was a little worried, and then it on a dime it kicks in, and it's awesome. Cast was great. Team dynamic was awesome. A lot of fanboy eye candy, especially one scene, which we'll get into pretty soon with the spoilers. I really feel it needs a director's cut. I think we all feel that way. But yeah, it's definitely worth seeing. And I hope everyone out there just goes out and supports it. It really need to send a message to Warner Brothers before hopefully they don't
pull a plug on it.
Jeez,
that's my concern.
I mean, Aquaman,
my guess is they will, but
Aquaman's in the can, so you can't really. And Wonder Woman 2's coming, so you can't really ignore the cinematic aspect. But yeah, I would give it a solid 4 out of 5.
I think at this point they've made probably too much money to completely reboot it.
It'd be a big mistake.
Yeah.
It would be a very big mistake, and I would not be.
Yeah, I don't know if they do a complete reboot. I think they just let it slide for a while.
Redcon it maybe a little bit, or Well, I think if they do Flashpoint, that's your way into adjusting more. And if Affleck does not want to be Batman anymore, then that would be a clever way to recast him.
It is a way to recast him, but I really don't think they'll do a Flashpoint at this point. It's questionable. I think if Shazam will even get made now, you know, and
I really hope they, you know, that's the thing is this was their idea to make it under 2 hours and all these reshoots. And then they also have the decision to make whether to go forward or all these other projects. And it's just, it's just terribly like you have bad ideas.
Yeah.
And you're funding us at the same time, you know. It's
who do you think gave them those ideas? It's, you know, Rotten Tomatoes and all the masses that they want to please. It's like, just give the fans what they want to see.
There's a lot of fishiness going on.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
To get into a little bit of it, I think some critics saw the movie and liked it, but somehow the reviews got on there without them putting it on there.
Well, on Rotten Tomatoes, they did put out their reviews, but one guy came forward and said, like he gave his review and it was kind of mixed. So it wasn't like rotten or anything, but apparently if your review is mixed, they automatically, like the algorithm changes it to rotten.
Yeah, you can't even say anything negative about it without it going there. But yeah, he specifically liked it a lot, you know, and he went to Twitter and was pretty vocal about it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, my question is, what are the big problems with the movie that people are having?
Like
in general, you know, what's the buzz? I mean, what do people hate about the movie?
Will we be going to spoilers if we
a little bit?
Further?
Yeah.
Well, let's just warn everybody we're going to go into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. Come on back and listen to us. Take it away, Joe.
Everyone dies, but no. Everybody knows.
I almost turned it off.
Aquaman marries Batman.
Hey, it was a weird scene. So I mean, a lot of people, especially fans, are mad that they didn't get to see Zach's full dream, or I can't think of the word.
His vision.
His vision. You know, come to an end, more or less. And I mean,
supposedly the whole thing was done. The whole movie was done.
Yeah,
and WB was
and so now there's this whole narrative about like, oh, he turned in a script that WB didn't like or whatever, and but it's all coming from people that like the rumor started somewhere and then it carried on. So I don't know where the source is for like he turned in the script that WB didn't like, because I never heard that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So I don't know where people are getting that from. There's a lot of that going on.
There's so much of it's toxic.
Well, I mean, there's like we were talking about reboots, but we're kind of just throwing out the idea. People are adamant about like they're doing the reboot. They're completely canceling the movie. It's like, nope, they're not. And someone on Reddit was like, pretty sure Aquaman is going to be the last movie. They canceled Shazam, and the director of Shazam commented on it from his Reddit account. He was like, I didn't know that. Can I not come into work tomorrow?
Nice. Good.
Yeah. So just a lot of that stupid stuff going on.
They better just push forward. I mean, it's stupid. It's like, how many times do you need to start fresh? Like, just go for it. Marvel had hiccups. Just go for it.
Well, what other complaints have there been?
The reshoots, maybe? Well, the mustache gate, that's
CGI.
And honestly, I wasn't looking close enough. The only scene I thought looked a little different was when he told Batman, "Do you bleed?" That looked maybe a little altered, but other than that, I think I talked to Mitch earlier, and you Mitch, saw some issues with the mustache not being there.
The only part that stuck out the most to me, I think the rest of the film did a pretty good job with the CGI. The very opening scene where you see that video tape of Superman was horribly done. Like half of his right side looked like he had a stroke. Like there was either no lip or he had like droopy face. It was bad.
Yeah, and I mean that's another instance where you got to take into account like, okay, again, this whole thing happened. This whole thing happened over the summer. The VFX people didn't want to do it because it's like that is a terrible idea, and nobody was coming to terms. So it was like, okay, well, this is our best bet.
And Paramount is not the bad guy either, because I mean, he was doing their film. Yes, they could have been like, hey, let's give you a fake mustache, help them out.
Yeah.
But again,
I mean, you look at Kenneth Branagh's mustache in Murder on the Orient Express. You're like, oh, that's not real at all.
Right. But and then Tom Cruise got injured on that Mission Impossible set,
so
he could have shaved.
It's all for naught.
Right. But I didn't know. First off, I did like that scene. I thought it was really cool with the kids, and we got a podcast.
Did you ever fight a hippo? No, I told you not to ask him that.
And already they were adjusting Superman. Yeah. I could tell, making him more happy and, talking to the kids and all that.
Why not just explain that when Superman died, he grew a mustache, like a part of his body's defense? So then the rest of the movie, he just had a mustache.
I don't know. That'd be very.
I understand what you're saying because.
I mean, that explains.
Well, when you die, technically your hair grows because your face, like your skin shrinks.
Right.
But
if his only hair follicles are only under the nose.
Yeah, and also he's Kryptonian, so I don't think it works the same way. Yeah. So I don't think that would be a good
Welcome
idea.
to the Mortician cast.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That was one thing I didn't catch. Do you think he was actually dead, or was his body maybe would have recharged eventually?
Well, Batman, when he was talking about the mother box, he said his cells are lying dormant, but there's no life force pushing those cells. You understand?
Right.
Like we pretty much need a jolt, like do a Frankensteiner.
Get the dirt off him.
Like do a Frankensteiner. Yeah, I didn't catch that first either, but then I went back and listened to that scene because I heard that was the pivotal moment.
I don't know about you guys, but I was getting super excited when they were getting ready to bring him back. I was just like a kid, I just Flash is like, I got to go down here and generate, because the mother box was kind of not charged or whatever.
Yeah, he had to touch it as soon as it hit the water.
But I love that scene. I did hear some people, and it didn't bother me, the grave robbing scene. Some people were like, that is terrible. But, they addressed how horrible the situation was.
People are stupid. I totally forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I know. And I didn't get that at all. Like, I think the way they handled it helped you accept the scene. But otherwise, it's like, they have to get the body.
Well, and also, it was a really good moment for Flash and Cyborg. Like, hey, neither of us really wanted this, but now we're here and we have a purpose.
And they're developing that chemistry, with the fist bump Flash keeps.
And Flash is like, that's a plan. Oh, we're not there yet. Okay.
That's what I kind of liked
racially
about
charged.
Wonder Woman there is that in order to get Cyborg, she had to find deep down inside why she was hiding and why she was so vulnerable. to maybe come out and really shine in the movie. At the very end when they're doing kind of the post and they're doing like a little montage of everybody kind of doing their own thing again. It really helped to show that, being vulnerable in that point helps you grow. And it was really cool to watch her use the lasso on those two bank robbers or whatever, and then talking to kids. And it was almost very Captain America-ish, which is really cool to me. I thought that's really, really cool because it seems like Batman always hangs out in the back and there's no real clear dominant leader in that group. Everyone's dominant in their own right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like now they're pushing the whole, and it's a good push. They're realizing that, okay, Diana was raised literally to be a warrior. So who best to like lead this group of soldiers than her? Because she can, like, for the most part, not let her personal grievances get in the way. Unless Batman deliberately brings up Steve Trevor, then he's going to get his ass kicked.
What'd you guys feel about that line?
Batman's always been that way, I think. Very like, I need to get this out of them. Like it's not going to go.
He's a tactician. It was a tactic.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Which is why I think
she pushed him.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's unsaid that he, he's very smart and he's like, well, I don't think I can lead these people because I'm the only one without powers. So who else better than, again, this, warrior?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other scenes that you guys really liked?
Honestly, all of them. I mean, I don't remember a scene that was, well, okay. I didn't, for the most part, I didn't like all the jokes. Like, a lot of the jokes were really...
Felt forced a little bit.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, like, these weren't really
like one necessary. Of the reshoots, the brunch line, I didn't really like that.
Yeah,
and I could tell that was
kind of like a one-off thing, just like a, haha, also this.
So they could do it at the end when they raced.
Yeah, and then, but I mean, if it adds to Barry's character, I guess it was whatever. But there was a scene that people are not liking, and it's, Barry, like when they're in the tunnel, he tackles Diana to push her out of the way, and then he's on top of her, and he's like, all flustered. I'm like, Joss, no.
One of my favorite scenes was the rooftop scene in Gotham. Yeah. It was the beginning of the movie when you have that robber come out, and he's kind of like to me, I got like a Donner-like vibe from his character. It was kind of like how Donner did like. Burglars in the Superman movie.
I thought you were talking about the Bad Signal with Gordon. Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
This is like
the very beginning.
In the very beginning.
I remember now.
I liked how you saw across the other building, and he was there on a gargoyle or whatever. That was really great. Good. And he did all those moves, and he didn't kill the guy. That was cool. Also the Arkham tech on his arm. That was really cool. That was cool. I don't know if that was like a nod to the
no,
the games,
he doesn't really. I mean, only in Arkham Knight he has the video that he can see, but other than that, it's like, but the I was gonna say the skyline of Gotham, which, by the way, Gotham is overall got to be my favorite fictional city ever.
Yeah. Design is just amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
Awesome.
But this movie reminded me a lot of Arkham Knight because big buildings, bright lights. I was just like, this looks fantastic. Even we're not getting a complete skyline view. We're just getting little shots because he was fighting the parademon at that time.
And when he went from one gargoyle to the next, all I could think of were those stealth missions.
Yeah, swinging from
right.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was pretty sweet.
Well, that was awesome how he grabbed the parademon and they're flying in the air, and it was kind of almost like Man-Bat type of.
That's what. Yeah, in Arkham Knight, that's what happens. That
was just kind of neat.
That's what I was thinking of.
Right, and of course, the theme it kicked in and out throughout the whole movie, the classic Batman theme, and I thought it worked.
Who did the music?
Danny Elfman.
He sure did.
He did.
And it was awesome. I loved it.
I did, yeah.
I liked the callback. I mean, because it wasn't too intrusive, but it had the
wasn't
musical
the full
themes. Right. It was
like just like the Superman theme. They only played 2 beats of it.
Yeah, I hardly heard it. I missed most of that, actually. I wish there was a little bit more of that.
But I think they did it just so it wasn't overdone. But yeah, for the soundtrack, I would say it's probably the weakest of the DCEU.
Really?
Really?
You got Hans Zimmer for Man of Steel, Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL for BVS, and then like we were supposed to get. What I'm assuming would have been a crazy soundtrack, and then, you know, Josh goes and fires. Way to go, Josh!
I worked there.
Josh goes and fires Junkie XL and brings in Danny Elfman.
Is that what? Oh yeah, because Danny Elfman worked with him on Ultron, I believe.
Yeah,
yep.
And so it's interesting to think about what could have been, but yeah.
To be fair though, guys, we did get the original 1989 soundtrack back though. Now, would have we gotten that with the other guys? I don't know. I don't know if that was planned, but we got that at least.
Yeah. We got the classic themes. I thought that was, I dug it. You know, I know some people also, some of the music throughout the movie, it reminded me of the earlier Batman movies. I don't know what instruments used, but
it didn't feel like we got, like, each character got their own theme, though, especially when we're talking about The Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman.
I think the Flash's theme was in there. It's just, I mean, no pun intended.
The old Flash theme?
No, like
Danny Elfman did do that theme from the 90s show.
No, I think there was like
it's very similar to
kind
Batman.
of a generic Flash theme, but not to throw a pun out there, but it was very quick. Like, I don't think we got like a full Flash theme sang with Wonder Woman. We only heard just a little bit of hers.
I was going to say, I don't remember. I like the intro song, Everybody Knows. It's by Sigrid. Is that how you say him?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Well, I thought you know today's music. Come Together, that's another good song.
Yeah.
I think Gary Clark and Junkie XL.
You know today's music.
Yeah.
He's sounding as old as I am.
Ain't got the same soul.
You know today's music, you whippersnapper. But no, it was, I did like the Danny Elfman callback stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't over the top.
It wasn't over the top.
He was in the Batmobile at the end, and they played it again. And I was like,
there were just a lot of people.
I love Hans Zimmer.
There were just a lot of people who felt robbed from. I think the overall thing was like they would have been okay with Elfman being in there if we had gotten the Hans Zimmer original Superman theme, and we didn't. So I think that's what most people.
Some of it was in the trailer when he's in the cornfield, which I don't know if they might have played some of that there. Yeah, let's talk about when they bring Clark back. I really dug the scene where he had a reunion with his mom. Mm-hmm. Like, he's with Lois in the cornfield. His mom pulls up in the truck, and it's like, I think the scene's just brilliant. Like, you almost tell
his mom's like, zombie.
Yeah, that's actually Snyder's version, so we probably shouldn't get that.
What's Snyder's version?
I'm kidding. No, but right when she stops the truck, you realize she just saw Clark, and she gets out and just runs, and I thought that was a great emotional scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very real scene, though, and I think that's why it works so well in the movie. Not only that, but when he had his backup plan to bring Lois back in, I mean, the Flash snapped him out. I don't know how.
Oh my gosh, that scene was cool when Flash was trying to get the
upper
hand. Yeah, gradual, like the eye turn. You're like, oh no, and then Barry is the audience. Well, they say that a lot. His character is us,
right?
His whole expression.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh god.
I love his little. When he started attacking the League and Barry's like, Pet Cemetery.
Yeah,
I told you guys.
That was good. That's what, and a lot of people had issues with like, oh, you brought him back into the ship to bring him back after the, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But
again, I think they were upset that there wasn't really like.
With the mythos of Superman.
Well, no,
to bring him back.
No, they didn't feel like there was an explanation to the dirt rising at the end of BVS. Which because it is, again, like, because you said you didn't realize it and I didn't either the first time, is because it's glossed over, is when Bruce said, your cells are lying dormant, but that, there's no life in you. So they needed, like, I understand that now, they needed to give him a kick.
Well, a lot of people who are complaining about that, they want the comic versions, but man, there's so many versions and there's not enough time. Like, I would love the Reign of Superman. I think that would be great. But there's not enough time.
You need 3 or 4 movies for that.
And a lot of people are like, I got a way to fix this Justice League thing. They should each have their own movies before. And I'm like, they have no time. They are trying to catch up right now to Marvel. And Marvel had that time.
Well, no matter what they do, they're gonna face that, like, backlash of anybody. Because today they released the promo art or promo
put
poster,
Superman back in.
Put Superman in the which it made me wonder, like, was he originally part of that picture and then they photoshopped him out and then kept the originals, like, and then released those today. I thought that was pretty cool. But some people were like, "Oh wow, that's so desperate." It's like, "Oh guys, the movie's tanking."
But it's funny because every complaint that I've heard, and that you guys are all talking about from what you've heard from complaints, they're ridiculously shallow, and their reasons.
I agree, totally,
for someone to hate something that aren't really that legitimate.
Well, and then for Force Awakens, somebody pointed out in all the promotional posters and stuff, Rey didn't have a lightsaber, and then once the movie came out, they did that, but nobody said anything. And they're, "Oh, that's brilliant."
Well, it's not DC, so it was great.
True. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it made like a little under 100 million and
domestically.
It was projected for like what 116 or something.
Crushing it in the United Kingdom right now.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing, and not to say that.
Well, I'm not a numbers guy, but to me, it's still a hit. That's still a lot of money.
No, absolutely,
and overseas,
and I don't think
money
money should determine whether or not a movie's good,
right?
Because
but Warner Brothers is looking at that.
I mean, you have plenty of movies from especially like the 80s and 90s that are cult classics, but they didn't do anything in the box office because nobody knew much about them. But like that's the headline I see is like, "Oh, Justice League stumbles at 96 million," but they don't say domestically or anything. It's like, okay, what about worldwide? Because I'm pretty sure they're like 300 right now, maybe.
Yeah.
And even so, Batman vs Superman, they just talked about how big of a financial failure that was, and it was 800 plus million.
Yeah.
So again, it's absolutely ridiculous. I just
hate the bias, and I just hate the studio has all these ideas, and they're the ones calling the shots in the end. It just makes no sense. Like, you can't win.
And now it's like, people are probably going to come at us after hearing this and say like, "Oh, you're just DC fanboys defending." It's like, we wouldn't have to defend it if you would give yourself time to form your own opinion about the movie, not read the reviews,
or prejudge it.
Right. Reviews are fine if you're trying to get like a basic idea of like what the movie is. And if you're like, but if you're solely basing your judgment on one or like multiple reviews, you're automatic. You made up your mind,
right?
Which is why the whole Rotten Tomato thing it's just an abuse of power. I believe. Who knows if they're even that algorithm is even doing what it's supposed to do. It's like it just feels like they're out. I know they praised Wonder Woman. I think. But here's the other thing.
Them not praising it.
Yeah, you don't want to be the company that says the first female-led superhero movie is crap.
Yeah, which was actually high quality and excellent all around.
They're not first female led because you had like Elektra, but this far down the road, and it worked.
Well, and Warner Brothers, they didn't really have a lot of faith in that movie. It seemed because you didn't really know it was coming out, and I was afraid it was going to flop.
Yeah,
but it, thankfully, it ended up being a great moneymaker, and they're also talking about, "Oh yeah, this is like the lowest of their premiere weekend," but I'm thinking, did the other ones open with another superhero in the box office still? Thor's like 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be a little more time between those, or just consider like, hey, there's an alternative out there. Obviously, it's not going to, it's going to have competition.
Right. Well, they're two different genres, though, Thor and then the Justice League. Because, Justice League is a superhero action movie, and, the Thor movie is a comedy. So, you want to... This is me being a dick.
Got him.
I know. Yeah. That's the thing that Thor's too funny, I feel. I did enjoy it, but
Thor's not funny.
Yeah, well, right.
Well, yeah.
Comic wise, right?
The character is not supposed to be funny.
He's not.
Yeah. Well, they just wanted, it was like their hurrah, so they were like, we got to just try something
Absolutely.
new.
It was Taika Waititi and
I like him. I'm a fan of his.
I'm not. I don't want to bash the movie at all. Like, I'm glad they they got to do what they wanted to do, but whatever. Let's talk.
Truth being said, just one more thing about people think we're all DC fanboys, which we are, but I own all the Marvel movies too.
I'm a superhero
I love
fanboy.
all these movies.
Right, I am too.
I'm tired of them being put together. Like, oh, DC, poor DC, and I just these critics are driving me nuts.
And I'm the first person that talks about how incredibly amazing the Marvel TV stuff is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Even Inhumans. You like Inhumans, right, Steve?
I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
I don't think anybody has.
On the Netflix stuff, though, I'll be honest. I don't think there is anything better out there than the Marvel Netflix stuff.
Really good.
And it's it's beyond incredible, and it's, to me, it's far surpassed the movie universe,
right?
To the point where I have a hard time watching the movie stuff anymore.
Yeah,
with a joke every 19.3 seconds or less,
right?
And it's just, it doesn't, something shouldn't be so dark and never, have anything light. That's not what I'm saying, but
but there have to be stakes.
There have to be stakes, and there has to be a certain amount of seriousness, when you're going around doing a lot of property damage and beating the living crap out of people. And
I mean, that was my thing with Avengers: Age of Ultron. I've said it probably 10,000 times. I'll probably say 10,000 more. Is that opening scene where you see all the Avengers dead on the on Tony's vision? They marketed that as what's going to happen in the movie, and so I was like, okay, wow, like it's serious. Yeah. Nope. Quicksilver dies after we know him for 12 minutes, and it's like, oh, okay.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
But Justice League.
And they dropped a whole city from the sky.
Right.
Well, the people were gone, thankfully. They had the transports.
Of course they were. Every last one was.
Right. But, it's whole Man of Steel thing, Metropolis, all those people, like, Metropolis isn't even real. New York is real, and I'm pretty sure in Avengers, some people died.
Right.
I hate to say that, but some people died. So,
but with the Justice League, now people are complaining because it's being too funny and it's being too light. Well, this is the complaint you had last time.
Yeah, exactly.
That movie could have been insanely flawless on every level, and it would have gotten attacked.
Yeah, and I did love the movie. I think there is some overcorrection, but that comes natural when you're trying to like please more people, right? So,
but it shouldn't detract from the experience.
No,
and it doesn't.
Are we talking about Justice League now? I tuned out for a second. Sorry, we were talking about Avengers. I was like,
no, trying to get us back. Just
right. But back to the resurrection scene and Superman versus JL. Did you guys notice that the nightmare scene from BVS was completely done away with once, like, in a good way, once like they were fighting Superman and like it was like, okay, well, like he's just gonna take over, and then
Lois showed up.
Was the key.
Yep.
So that entire future as of now was null,
which helps the Flash scene where he's like, you gotta get Lois or something. Do you remember what he said?
He's like, Lois Lane, she's the key.
She's the key. Right?
He's like, you're right about him. You've always been right about him. And he was like, get out of my room.
What other scenes did you like, Mitch?
I would say the really strong scenes were when Wonder Woman steps in and fights off that bank robber. Like that whole line is awesome, where she's fighting off the bullets. Another great scene is I think the interaction between Cyborg and the Flash when they're at the grave, and he's like, I could dig this a lot faster, right? But it just feels wrong.
It's disrespectful.
So he just slows down like at a human pace. Or when he's saying in to visit his dad at jail and he draws a real quick,
Oh
yeah,
Frankenstein. That was funny.
That was really good. And that was cool. You saw like a quick flash, literally, with his hand.
You just saw like his hand move over his face and it was already done.
That was really good. What did you think of Cyborg?
That was one character I did not think I would like, just based off the fact of how mechanical he looked
Racist.
in the preview. And I think he turned out to be one of the stronger characters in the movie. A wonderful actor. I don't know anything about him.
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher. Broadway stage guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Stage actor.
Oh, he's total stage.
Mm-hmm. It's his first deal.
Oh, then he's
got a great voice, commanding.
Really
I thought he killed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if he's already stage guy, and I mean that could easily become like a Hugh Jackman kind of guy. I mean, he's got dominating personality. His voice is not shaky at all. I mean, it was. I don't know much about Cyborg. Steve, and Joey, do you think that was spot on?
I mean, it was pretty spot on. I mean, there's a little bit of shifts here and there just because of the movie verse, but even in character, I think they were pretty faithful to the comics.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if people were expecting him to be like the Teen Titans cartoon, because that was very
happy-go-lucky.
Very
Right.
animated, and not the
was
new
not
one,
that.
not the new one, the original Teen Titans cartoon, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But it has its own animation style and its own world.
Mm-hmm.
So if that Cyborg were in the movie, I don't think it would translate well.
No.
And the Cyborg in the comics has primarily always been a more serious one of the Titans, you know? So, I mean, I think they nailed it.
Absolutely.
Right.
The final battle, I was waiting to, hear that catchphrase, and then he just gave it very,
Booyah,
proudly,
right?
booyah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man,
And
that's awesome.
It's funny because some people are like, "Oh, I didn't like him saying that." And it's like they don't even know the history. It's like, damn it, guys.
He said booyah. It spoiled the entire movie for me. I just couldn't believe.
That's the problem with, I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, that's the problem with pleasing the general audience is like, okay, they're not going to get this reference, and that's okay. You have to be okay that some people aren't going to get this reference, but your loyal fans are going to understand what's happening.
I didn't get it, but it didn't bother me. I thought it was right in the moment,
I kind of knew it was coming because I listened. He was on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Can we get like
Geeks?"
Yeah, hopefully.
That's a good episode.
They were like, "Can we get like one, one cyborg booyah from everybody on the table?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can't do that because I just want you guys to wait for the movie because I'm not saying something is in it." But and they were like, "Oh, okay, that's an exclusive."
Yeah.
So, but it was pretty cool to hear.
And I know that Snyder's cut, there is more scenes of Cyborg. That felt a little like not like we got a little bit, but not enough.
I was going to speak about the deleted scenes. They actually, someone from the VFX team, released a lot, like 8 deleted scenes, from Snyder's cut. And boy, what did we miss out on? Cause a lot of it is like game changing stuff, like Flash saving Iris, which we didn't get to see her at all, and people are now saying she's probably going to be recast. But like internet knowledge is whatever.
I know it's ridiculous.
But it looked pretty good. It wasn't finished, obviously, because like.
But that was him breaking the glass, in all the trailers, which looked great,
looked cool.
Yeah,
and then Cyborg had a similar Man of Steel-esque type takeoff because he was like trying to figure out all those rockets, and he's like, I gotta get to the rooftop to get to Batman. And then that was a scene of him in the clouds taking off
with his mask, right?
No, I don't think he had that because that's battle mode, which we didn't get that, which I'm pissed about. But yeah, I mean, those are the 2 that really stuck out to you, or to me. Yeah,
there's a real deep scene where he's like, he's back in his full body, wearing his leather jacket. All these, it's like a dream sequence. All these missiles come down at him, and he swipes them away.
Well, I think it's like because when he was giving the history lesson about the mother boxes, he was able to put himself like in the scene. He was able to put his like in his mind, he's still himself.
Well, that would have been great to like see, what.
Well, now is a shot of him in that Letterman's coat, which was cut out.
Because that's probably how he still identifies himself.
Absolutely.
That's him.
Absolutely.
Not this thing.
Also, I really liked how he gave himself the C emblem at the end. That was really awesome. Well done.
Did it feel like that was not polished, that CGI effect with the armor? Like, I dug it, but it felt like it wasn't quite 100%. I love the symbol.
The reason I liked it was because in the previews and leading up to it, I didn't think it looked as good as it did in the final version.
Yeah.
So for me, I kind of did I didn't really...
Because at the end of the movie, he becomes he's getting there to what everyone wanted to see. And I just thought that scene maybe wasn't 100%. I mean, it was decent, but it just felt like they could have done a little bit better with the effects. But I dug the centerpiece, but I liked how he made up with his father, it seemed pretty much. And because he has a purpose now.
Yeah.
And both of them are digging these new powers because he's constantly evolving, which I don't know in the comics. Is that a thing?
Not so much, but I like the actor that plays his father.
Played Miles Dyson in T2.
Right.
I don't recall his name.
I don't either, but
great actor.
He is a great actor, and he's very believable in the character.
Or something.
Even in the small screen time he had, and the whole deal, he's just very believable, and you
his desperation,
you
felt
right?
that. He's like, I lost your mother, didn't want to lose you. They didn't really go into all the he was in an explosion. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I guess. been changed multiple times throughout the comics. But I think the truest one was a car accident, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And
which I thought until he said an explosion. I was like,
and like New 52 was the lab explosion, right?
Okay.
So I mean, I think they're trying to morph all of those together. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they cut out his mom. Like, was supposed to be in a scene because Zack Snyder said that she was like the heart of the movie back when they were filming it. Which, by the way, Zack Snyder still has not seen the movie.
Right.
No, that's weird.
Yeah, it's really sad to hear.
He's got things to do.
He's got things to do, but also it's just like, I don't want to, I wouldn't want to see.
Well, yeah, I mean,
something with my name on it.
It was ripped apart,
yeah.
And they put these scenes in. Not to say Whedon did a bad job. Like, a lot of things worked, but I still kind of wanted more seriousness. I think that's what Snyder is good at, and I think BVS, he really could have delivered if Warner Brothers didn't come in and be like, well, you can't. Got to cut this thing down because he was going to make Cyborg like very serious like character because anyone in that situation is dealing with a lot of stuff and
that I keep going back to that because I hear the story of like, oh, they brought him back to make him more funny, and it's like, I don't remember him being funny in the movie. Like, he had that,
like, they don't want him to be a downer.
Yeah, I guess
maybe that's the way it was, but
maybe, I don't know. Yeah, because like he had the Little Merman line, but other than that, I couldn't think of like a really funny. Oh, there was that one. He was like, "Well, I was running the numbers while you were being an asshole." I was like,
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was great.
Good. That was good. Yeah, I loved Bruce Wayne's samurai room. That reminded me of Keaton's museum room in the first Batman.
Well,
I don't know if that was a nod to it, but
it was. I think it was more of a nod to the Seven Samurai movie because Zack Snyder said that that was the inspiration of this movie.
Right. Like, yeah, all these Easter eggs, I'm not sure which ones are true, but that's what I got from it. I was like, that's really cool. I like that nod. I like Diana adjusting his arm. That was another, maybe not so Bruce Wayne scene. Like, I still laughed, but when he got injured in the park by Superman, he's like, oh, something is bleeding. It just felt
I get that
was a Whedon line.
And I get that he was answering like Clark's "Do you bleed?" line, but I was like, it's not really Batman.
Yeah.
And also, one thing that I'm probably like kind of alone in it, but they had Bruce and Diana share a drink, like right when Ben Affleck was fresh out of rehab.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh.
Back to rehab.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, so just, I don't know, they didn't have to drink.
Maybe it was apple juice. I don't know.
Yeah. But again, that's just really nitpicky.
Well, and I heard that whole scene where Superman's back, it was really like a night scene. There's a scene where Cyborg saves some people from a car, and he's like, you better watch out.
He was supposed to save Jimmy Olsen, the guy who played Jimmy Olsen.
In the Reeves Superman, he's playing a cop.
Yeah, he was supposed to save him from that tank and say, like, you should probably move. But
we did get to see him also, that character, when Flash, Barry Allen, signed in to see his father. That was him behind the gate, and he called Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. And he had that nice expression with the dude with all the permanent marker on his face.
All right.
That was pretty good.
I love that.
Those are good.
Let's talk about Steppenwolf. What'd you guys think of that?
I thought he really held his own. People are out here calling him the worst movie villain. I'm like, yeah, go look at Marvel movies and tell me about it later.
Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, for someone who should be overshadowed by Darkseid, he really wasn't. Like, it perfectly set up Darkseid, but let that story, unfold, and we got to see, I think...
And he was formidable,
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have a problem. I didn't think I was going to like Steppenwolf going into it at all.
I thought he was going to be very generic, and then I was like, oh.
Because in the comics, I don't ever... He's one of those characters where I just don't have any emotion about him at all. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. He's just there, and he's a plot device, and that's about it. And you just
can't really respect someone who is someone's uncle, but he's pretty much he does whatever he says.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this stuff about Darkseid, right? I'm bringing all these things for Darkseid, and not once do we even get a tease of him. Not even at the very end. Yeah.
It would have probably taken away from the movie, I think.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, I think people would have complained about it, and then they would have called it a Thanos moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And so I would have stayed away from that as well. But
and also it's like, that kind of leaves the fans wanting more. It's like, we know he went back to Apocalypse. What's going to happen on Apocalypse? Is Darkseid going to be pissed? Is he going to kill him? What's going to happen?
It would have been cool through the portal maybe to see like a glimpse of something.
Is Darkseid just flipping him off? Idiot!
What did you
The boom tube.
But that's funny how you say that, Steve, because I actually heard the opposite of that. Like they should have done Darkseid like Thanos. That would have been great. But yeah, it's like.
But if they would have complained about it.
Yeah,
people want a Marvel movie with DC characters, and now they know that it doesn't work.
Well, and I also I like the scene where Diana was explaining the whole mother box situation. I thought it was kind of edited weird, like
the history lesson.
Yeah, like she starts talking about it, then it stops. They're walking, and then it goes right back into it.
Yeah,
that was kind of jarring.
It was really. I think the lake scene was Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
So, but I know Steve probably really liked the fight scene because
let's talk about that history lesson, Steve.
Yeah.
Who made a special appearance?
Well, a Green Lantern made a special appearance.
I think it was just a generic, like,
Al Jordan, everybody.
A killable Green Lantern.
It was a very disposable.
That's actually
see you later.
His name, Killable.
Yeah. He was
someone said it was Kilowog. I was like, nope.
Sorry.
It was not.
Yeah, no, this was, obviously thousands of years before, our current time.
But he was wearing his cape like Alan Scott.
Right, he was.
Really cool.
It was a different color cape, but it was still a cape nonetheless, and it was very fast and quick. I'm excited to get the Blu-ray so I can slow crap down on that one.
Absolutely.
The fist?
Right, the whole thing.
I wonder if, because the ring, like, made, that pattern or whatever, like, I wonder if, you slow it down, if it meant something, if it was writing something out, I don't know. Maybe it was just like screw you, because it was writing Steppenwolf's face. Right,
it was, very true, though. I mean, when a lantern dies, the first thing you see is that ring.
I liked how he looked at it. And he was like, what the hell's that about? Yeah, it was really cool. And then they say that the dude with the lightning's probably Zeus, maybe? Or Shazam?
Oh, yeah, because it's gods.
It was Zeus. Yeah.
Zeus, and then David Thewlis from Wonder Woman, who played Ares, that was actually him.
No kidding.
But it was very... like a throwaway scene. And I guess Robin Wright was in there for like a split second.
What?
So... it's like a blink and you'll miss it moment. I don't know, because I blinked probably.
Well, that reminds me. Let's talk about bikinis, guys. I'm just gonna say this. I just watched Wonder Woman today.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice some people had bikini looking type of uniforms on.
Here's the thing about that. People again are very stupid. They raise up these controversies out of nowhere. Some of them have an agenda to besmirch the DC universe and Zack Snyder, call him misogynist, sexist, whatever. Well, then you got people who actually played the Amazons and the Warriors coming forward saying, I've never felt more empowered on a movie set as a woman than
because they had rock hard abs.
Zack Snyder. I got to show they were ripped. I got to show my physique. I was never told stand in a sexier way than you're standing right now. I was told
hold up the door.
I was told, okay, like be the strong person that you are, and I was able to do that.
And I'll take their word for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over crybaby social justice warriors.
Absolutely.
All day long.
Because one, they can kick our ass, and two.
And so
right.
I love
and social justice warriors can't.
I love seeing people come to the aid of Zack Snyder because I feel like
the love feels like it's at a high right now. Like it seems like it's the opposite. People now want to see his vision, and now they're praising Man of Steel, and it's like, damn,
those are the same people that hated BVS. Anyways, so yeah, I can't remember her name right now, but I was really enlightening to read that because I didn't know what to think of it because I was like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's a lot of controversy over what seems like nothing. And she said it was nothing. Like, different warriors wore different armor because of their fighting styles. Some needed to be more acrobatic. And she was like, and some people who were acrobatic wore more armor. There'd be chafing. There would be bleeding. So like, pretty much she was just saying, just shut up, please.
Well, and the Amazons have kind of been shown to be sexy in the comics, I think. I don't think they've always been like,
but like
robes and nothing. Don't look at me.
Well, and it's also like, I think she said it. She was like, they live on an island where there are no men. They don't have to worry about what they wear,
right?
Because there are no men.
Mm-hmm.
They can wear what they want because there are no men.
There is no misogyny on the.
Yeah.
Exactly. One thing I thought that I wouldn't like about Steppenwolf, a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's very CGI heavy." I see those complaints. I really wish
Lord of the Rings.
I really wish they would have taken the actor's face, because it's I can't pronounce his name, but he's a big actor.
He's in Game of Thrones and Harry Potter and stuff.
His voice is great, but I didn't even know that was him. Like, it looked a little similar, but
before I got to go real quick, sorry. I mean, I wish we could talk about this for hours. Real quick, I want to know what your guys' number one like scene that got cut that you would want to see. Because like, do you know like from the trailers?
I know a few things, but
because I would want to see Willem Dafoe's character, because we were supposed to see him, and I'm really mad that we didn't.
That felt kind of rushed.
Felt really rushed. Like we didn't.
Because Mara was like, "Oh, it's son of the." Blah. I'm like, "Wait, whoa!"
Because he's never been there before. I didn't know that until after he'd never been to Atlantis.
Well, and after seeing Murder on the Orient Express, it was the first time in my absolute whole life that I liked William Dafoe in anything. So I would have liked to have seen that and maybe kept that streak going.
Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly. What about you, Mitch? What was a favorite possible deleted scene or one you know for sure?
Here's the whole thing. I haven't seen that stuff that Joey has, and Joey, if you can send me a link to that would be great. I would have liked to have seen, if it actually was meant to be in there, Superman in the black suit. I mean, it only makes sense that, and what the only thing I can think of is that when he was revived, some sort of armor from the ship put him back into the Kryptonian suit, and that's how he flew out. I mean, and now I get the whole part. He was already in a suit, and so they like his shirt ripped off or something or whatever. That's fine, but it would have been cool to at least have seen him in that.
When he makes his appearance at the end, it felt like there was a good chunk of time where he had an adjustment. For instance, I know that one deleted scene of Bruce looking at this hologram image. Maybe he built the new suit. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could think of, and maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Superman part of Superman's suit changed from yellow, like the gold, to silver in a couple scenes, like back and forth. Now, I don't know if that was just the way that the lighting was hitting, but it looked like to me like it was silver, and then it was gold, and it was silver and gold. It was at the very end in the fighting scene.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but I could see maybe the lighting, different shots with Snyder's shot and maybe Whedon's. The suit was definitely a lot more colorful. The muscles were very amped up, which I kind of thought, like, I liked it, but I was like, Cavill's a pretty big guy. Like, I don't think we need to really, we know he's got abs, but the symbol looks like they maybe made the symbol a little bit smaller than it was. I don't know, but I think there was probably a good chunk there where he was readjusting to life. I like that scene. They kept showing Alfred working on a car.
Right.
Oh, he told me you'd come, and I assume that's Superman.
Yeah.
But I don't think we know right now who that was. Obviously it couldn't have been somebody else because, they would have shown up. But what about you, Steve? What was the scene? Maybe just a scene, like, just from your imagination, what you'd like to see.
I didn't really pay too much attention to the deleted scene stuff. So I really don't want to throw that out there like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But I mean, I thought the black suit would have been cool, but again, it's a time constraint. How long are they going to let that drag out? And I don't think we have the time for that. Because there's a million things I would have loved to have seen, but I think in the editing piece, unlike Suicide Squad, I think they did a really nice job editing this movie overall. Yeah. Maybe it felt a little choppy here and there, but I mean, every movie feels choppy to me here and there, but I don't know. I didn't really have one that stuck out for me to.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys can think of you want to bring up?
I do.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been on Twitter a lot, and, you read all the fans that are, cracking on it. I gotta be honest. I'm going to go with what the comic pros are saying. They're from both Marvel and DC are talking about how they enjoy Justice League. I'm going to go ahead and side with their opinion, over butthurt people that can't hold their own opinion.
Right.
So it just drives me crazy to see those bad reviews. But I mean, it's nice. You hear Dan Slott, who's Marvel exclusive, saying that, it's, or just saying how it was good, and then you had Dan Jurgens talk about how Superman, was a lot lighter and more true to the character. And I think Dan Slott was the one that said something to the effect of, it was nice seeing Superman be Superman or something to that effect.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just paraphrasing.
He was optimistic and positive.
Right.
You know,
it's the most Superman you've seen in the movie. Right. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
And,
which I knew what Snyder was going for. You know, but I think he would have got there. But,
and he would have gotten there. I really firmly believe he would have gotten there. But I mean, it was, Superman was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. You know, just that. And you know, it was great. But yeah, I hate all the critiques that aren't valid.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead and, you know, have a critique on some of the CG and things like that. That's fine. That's warranted, you know, but it wasn't enough for me to hate a movie.
No.
Yeah, all this popular, these titles about, it flopped. What's WB? I can't stand it. I get so upset when I see those headlines.
It was ridiculous, but, you know,
yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, I did too. And I really plan to see it again. I can't wait to own it. I think the rewatchability on it is probably the most, maybe out of, I guess Wonder Woman would be up there too, but like I love BBS, the Ultimate Cut. It is a commitment. It's pretty much pushing 3 hours, and there's a lot in there. At least, you know, if worst case, and I hope that doesn't happen, but they really decide to change up things, we have this movie still. We have these other movies, so they can't take that away. Hopefully not.
Right.
What direction are they going with director for the next one?
For the Justice League or for
Justice League, assuming that they do make another one.
I don't know. Before this movie came out, it looked like Snyder might come back. I think he's entertaining the idea, but I'm sure he's not 100% yet. Would never want to put him in that situation.
No.
You know, there's been other directors out there, their names thrown around. You know, they were talking about Man of Steel 2. Looks like they're saying that Man of Steel 2 and the Batman project will be a ways down the road, I think, because they're going to be trying to do the cinematic universe. And Flashpoint, hopefully they continue. I just think that would be, that's a huge story, and that would be a great big movie to make. And you don't want to make that short. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I really think that Warner is going to panic from a financial perspective. And, you know, the things that are in the pike and in the hopper right now, I do not think are going to be out on the screen in the way that was originally envisioned. You know, so, it'll be interesting to see how Batman turns out, what happens there. If we get another Justice League movie, and that is a huge if, you know, my guess is because of the studio panic, they're going to go in an entirely new direction.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I wish DC could just do what Marvel did, get their own damn studio, and then maybe Disney will buy them or something.
Right, and you know, they need to stop caving.
Because Warner Brothers, I shared this meme to all of us, and it's so damn true. They're showing all the villains of the DCU, and Warner Brothers is one of them.
They are, you know, and if give this thing exclusively to Jeff Johns, you know, he's not a helper, he's not an advisor. Give him the reins completely. And
so you feel he hasn't quite got the Kevin Feige title like they said he got?
I think it's lip service more than it actually is.
Yeah.
You know, there's just no way.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is also a studio that is insanely famous for jumping in and interfering with crap where they don't need to do that.
Well, and I don't recall the head of the studio right now, but there's things going around saying that, like, it's kind of a petition to get him fired. Because they were saying, like, he didn't want the No Man's scene in Wonder Woman. He wanted the reshoot done with Suicide Squad. Like, every idea he's had has just been terrible.
Right.
And, again, that frustrates me so much. Like, the people who are paying for the movie are screwing it up.
Yeah.
And then they're not, you know, like, at least Marvel had a plan. They're like, these are all the movies we're going to be doing. We're doing them. You know, if we have to adjust, which Iron Man 2 wasn't the best, they adjusted. They pulled it off just fine. I just wish, I don't know, Warner Bros. Just needs to get the hell out of DC's way. Let them do it. It's going to make money. Maybe it won't make $1 billion, but that's another thing I hate is ever since Avengers made $1 billion, every damn movie's got to make $1 billion, it seems.
They don't have to. They were first. They were going to hit the $1 billion. You know, the other people probably will not, and that's okay.
Right.
So I don't know. It's that stuff's kind of a drag, but yeah, I am excited for it to come out on DVD. I love that. I love the movie.
Yeah, and I hope this Thanksgiving weekend there's a big boost. Hopefully, I know it's probably a long shot, but it's still making tons overseas. I really think it could make. I would say my guess is I'm sure it could get up to 800 million. And of course, that'll probably be viewed as a flop.
Oh, it sure will. I mean, because again, this movie could have made 1.2 billion and it would have been a flop.
Yeah.
Because people want it to be a flop.
Exactly.
There's no objectivity
right
when it comes to the DC universe and critics.
You guys want to wrap up and talk about the after credit scenes? Is that cool? Or
yeah.
If you guys have anything else you want to say, go for it. Nope. I don't want to keep you any longer than I know it's late.
The first post-credit scene, the Superman and the Flash, huge fanboy moment for me because I've read a million of their races, and the whole thing, and it's always a thing in the comics, Superman versus the Flash, and like the whole eye scene earlier in the movie when Superman was resurrected. Yeah, people tend to forget that Superman is super and he's also has speed. Everything he does, so he's also insanely fast. Close to being on par with the Flash, not as fast.
Yeah.
But it was always fun, the races and the comics and that sort of thing, and so to have them do that, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, they had great chemistry. I felt. I think what did Barry say? Like, I always wanted to see the Pacific.
Yeah.
He pointed the other way.
Yeah. It was great.
Barry always kind of directionally challenged like that, though?
No.
Was he kind of always a goofball? I always took him as like an actual smart guy.
No, he is an actual smart guy in the comics, and he's always blonde in the comics, but he's he was never the jokester. He was never any of that stuff that they've made him out to be in the movie. But you know what? I'm a diehard purist. I didn't care. Right. I felt like it worked, and I loved it.
Well, and he's young, so if they keep going, I mean, his character can mature and
he could, but I still like his
right. Yeah,
I love his unique view that it lent to the audience.
I liked his suit.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was just beautiful, and I think that's a hard toy to find right now. I think his is probably the most popular, just because that red is so striking and it looks so good on the screen. I know some people didn't dig the suit.
I liked it.
I did too. I did not think I'd like the armor look because I remember when they were, casting and they're talking about the suit and they're saying it's gonna be like Injustice. I was like, man, I just can't picture that. Ugh. But this really made sense, and it was like astronaut material, NASA material.
That was pretty cool.
Pretty cool as competitive ice dancing. He was trying to say, that was a great scene. And then of course the last one. Who wants to take that away?
Oh, the scene where you're back in Arkham.
Yes.
And I had some ideas of who that was. So they're letting everybody out of the cells. I assume to go to lunch or something like that, or dinner or whatever. And they ask for Lex to back up or get out of the cell, and they go and walk over towards them and put their hand on him, and it's just some deranged replacement. Now, one thing I was kind of hoping for, which I think maybe too soon, was that we get a fresh-faced Joker, which I think all we would need is just maybe a blurb of. But then again, would we go, oh, God, not this again? Which I'm completely done with Leto as a Joker. Unless he does something dramatically different and better, or we see more of him, I just not buying it.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he ever got the room to really. Well, actually, maybe he did, but then the reshoots cut all that off. So we got these crazy over the top scenes. I do kind of like his Joker. Definitely takes in the look of the Joker. They don't, try to do a Ledger where it was bad makeup. He was just solid Joker, just took over that mantle. But it'll be interesting to see if last I knew he was still committed to coming back, and we'll see. Hopefully they give him a little bit more breathing room. But we got to see Deathstroke. That was great. I was so excited because I was really afraid Joe Manganiello, was that, I think that's how you say. I was really nervous he wasn't going to actually get to play in this universe, and man, the armor looked great. The boat, that was
a cool yacht.
Nice. And to me, I could tell Luthor was a lot more calm and collected. Now he's not probably, very handsome, and, all the ladies are just throwing themselves at him, because I'm pretty sure you probably paid for some of those women to come to the yacht. But I dug his striped suit. Did you catch that at all? It was like a Hackman suit,
Gene Hackman,
like a modern Hackman suit he wore in like the original movies. I liked how he just was sitting back, and we need our own team.
Yeah. Well, and the thing of it is that it's finally the Lex Luthor a little bit more that we all know and love.
It's getting closer.
It is. It's not like ADD, I'm a millennial child that's just all over the place kind of thing. It was well thought out. It was poised. It was, I've got a plan now. Not just, let's see what happens when we throw two super people together and have them fight each other. It was... There's something definitely more to this, which I hope we'll get.
Well, and I know Steve is a huge Jesse Eisenberg Luthor fan. What'd you feel? What'd you feel about this take? Did you feel it was different?
I felt it was more subdued. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to give it another chance.
Sure.
But
more of that, basically.
More of that. Yeah, exactly. But it was, it was interesting, and it is very Lex Luthor like to use other villains and stuff like that to make points and to try to get his plans going, and so it was cool, and what a cool villain to pick,
and a good setup, which I don't know if we'll get, but Legion of Doom, I think that's what they're going towards. There was a Twitter photo Joe was in long ago, and he's wearing a Legion of Doom shirt, the same font like the Justice League look like. So man, they need to make that. That'd be such a fun movie. I don't know if we'll get there, but I hope they continue, and hopefully this movie can make some more money. I definitely plan to see it one more time for sure in the theater. So guys, I dug it, and I just hope everyone out there listens to this and just goes to see it as many more times as they can afford.
Yeah, enjoy it.
So any closing thoughts from you guys?
Go see the movie.
Yep, just go see it. Form your own opinion. Be an individual. Don't be a robot.
Exactly. Or a tomato.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Joe.
And that was Joey.
That was Joey. Booyah. Take care. Yeah, you're funny.
He ain't no shoe shine. He got